I lived in Japan from 2011 to 2016. Japan experienced mass migration to a major city, which you would think it'd make it easy commute, right? Wrong. I saw people commuting from the shoebox-sized apartments, like sardines in a can, traveling for several hours every day. Not great experience to raising a kids. Many people in Japan decided to have smaller families. Today, the Japanese millennials and Gen Zers do not want to get married and do not want to have families at all. Reducing the population, potentially reducing the population by 35% in the next 30 years. Is this what the future look like for our kids and generation to come? I hope not. Hi, I'm Guy Kaplinsky. I'm co-founder and chairman of ASCA by NFT. And today I want to talk about the future of mobility and how it will impact our quality of life and more on Gen Z and generation to come. So now, let's talk about our life here. We may not have the same credit as Japan yet, but if you live in the valley and commute to the city, how long are you on the road? And if you want to move a little bit further, you will probably living in a traffic. As I see it, there are three main problems in urban living. Congestion is harder to move from a place to place. And with the rise of the demand of living in the big city, we see increasing cost of living, which make people commute, sit in the traffic, or at the mercy of public transportation, like our Caltrain. Do you know that in the US, we spend 1 year of our life in traffic? 96,000 people in the US suffer from heart attack in the traffic. And the cost of traffic is $305 billion a year. So what is the solution? Maybe it's the new mobility. Uber, Lyft, great once in a while, maybe on a business trip. Too expensive for a daily commute. Ride sharing, not great experience. Sitting in the back of a car with 3 other people you don't know with unpredictable time of arrival. A scooter, great on a nice day, maybe a holiday. But on a rainy day, hot weather, long distance, those new mobility solutions will not solve our urban living problems. So what will? It's clear the future is autonomous driving. Google, Uber, and all the OEM are working on autonomous car, trying to get there as soon as possible. But there are many bumps in the road, like unanticipated human behavior. Kids running after a ball in the street. Other drivers suddenly make a U-turn. Those autonomous technologies and AI are simply, it's hard to train to ride on the road. And even after those cars drive millions of miles, when we have infrastructure change, those cars will have to keep drive way more. We project that in the next 35 years, all cars will be autonomous. But what about the next 35 years? I want to make a prediction here today. Autonomous flying will happen before autonomous driving. Think about this. Autopilot, fly-by-wire, is already commercially available for the last 20 years. Planes fly themselves. Do you remember watching the video, Back to the Future and Fifth Element? We are the generation of a dreamer of a flying car. Our kids will have them. But what's stopping us? In truth, not much. If we want to see hundreds of those vehicles flying in the air simultaneously, machines will do a better job. And since kids do not play a ball in the sky yet, we have a clear flying zone. There are only two parts missing in urban air mobility: sense and avoid, and onboard sensing technology that enable those cars to fly safely in the sky. And mass air traffic control, autonomous air traffic control at scale. ASCA is bringing the premium UAM at your doorstep. ASCA is a hybrid vehicle, it's the size of an SUV that can park in your garage. ASCA has an unfolded wings that enable it to drive on the road like a car and fly like an aircraft. ASCA has a vertical takeoff and landing capability VTOL, flying the speed of up to 200 miles per hour. ASCA is flying full autonomously. ASCA is offering as a flying car as a service, using one vehicle for drive and fly, making it seamless solutions. And here, it's our vision. Unlike other eVTOL from Boeing and Airbus providing point-to-point, airport-to-airport public transportation, we at ASCA are looking for a premium commute, where the time is of the essence. Think about ASCA is the first-class eVTOL. Uber is investing heavily in Uber Elevate, creating terminals, point-to-point UAM. Each terminal costs hundreds of millions to build, and hundreds of thousands of those terminals required. What Uber is doing is very important for UAM. It makes it reality. But let's look on time and quality of commute. UAM provides a solution for 20 to 150 miles commute. Imagine that you buy a beautiful house in Santa Cruz Mountain, and you have to commute almost every day to San Francisco. Today, if you're driving in non-rush hour, it would take you 1.5 hours. But during rush hour, it might take you 3 hours each way. With Uber Elevate, Uber Taxi will pick you up from your house, drive you to the nearby terminal. You will arrive 10 minutes before, pass security, take off and fly to San Francisco, land in Uber terminal, take another Uber taxi, and drive you to your final destination. It will cut your time to 55 to 65 minutes, but you're going to use 3 types of vehicles. It's not too bad. With ASCA, drive and fly, it will take you only 30 to 40 minutes from your mountain home to your final destination in San Francisco. The only thing you need is a 65 by 65-foot vertipod to a minimum infrastructure investment. If you do the math, we are saving you 4 hours every day, 80 hours a month. In Athens, we are giving you back the year of commute that you've been sitting in the traffic. And we're giving you the joy of commute at an entirely different level. As I mentioned before, the critical part is the sense and avoid. This is our first product we will release next year. This is our AI sensor fusion platforms will enable small aircraft and helicopter to fly safe with a pilot for now. Transforming airfield into smart field, providing safe landing and flying zone. This system will enable hundreds of thousands of those vehicles to fly full autonomously by 2025. We are glad to announce that we were selected by NASA to be part of the NASA Grand Challenge program for flying vehicles. ASCA is my third company. I built with my wife, Maki. This explains the Japanese connection. After we sold our previous company to GE, we made a lift from connectivity of things to connectivity of flying things. You may think that we are crazy, which we are a bit. I mean, what government will allow UAM? Well, there are 69 cities are planning flight tests. New Zealand already started. The Dubai government is planning fly next year in 2020. The European Aviation Safety Agency already issued a regulatory framework for UAM. China, our competitor, Yang, is planning to have a commercial autonomous flying next year in Guangzhou City, 2020. So we are not the only crazy ones. To summarize, Mary Barra, the CEO and chairman of General Motors, say that the change in the auto industry in the next 5 to 10 years will be more profound than the last 50. We agree. But it's not just about moving people from point A to point B. It's about how you get there and how it will impact your entire life. As a third-time entrepreneur and a problem solver, those issues will keep me up at night. I want to leave a world for our kids where UAM will enable them to live in an area where cost of living is reasonable, quality of life is high, and they can commute to the city center to work, spending less time on the road and more time with their family. If we can give the people the gift of time, well, that's priceless. Thank you.